Yes, sir.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to our Road and Shop meeting, July 18th, 2023. Mr. Bill, could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Byrd.
Here.
Mr. Garcia.
Here.
Mr. McCormick.
Here.
Mr. Spovido.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have all members of the committee present.
Okay. Mr. Bill, would you lead us in prayer and Mr. Garcia in the pledge, please?
Most kind, gracious Heavenly Father, we're most thankful for this day that Thou hast given us. We ask Thy kindness be with us during this meeting, that we might make decisions that are beneficial to the parish, and that we might be guided to do those things we need to do for the benefit of all citizens in this community. We ask that all of our words be kind and generous, and we ask that Your Spirit guide us in all things. We ask these things most humbly in the name of Jesus Christ, our Son and Lord. Amen.
Amen.
We pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, guys. We need to amend the agenda? Any amendments? All right. I have a motion. We adopt the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mike,
Second.
second by Eric. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. 4-0. All right, public comments. Yes, ma'am.
I want to talk about public comments because I stand in opposition to your gag order. I've been told that all I need to do is call my police juror and ask that something be put on the agenda. Well, I did. And I got a voicemail box that is full, and then tried another number and did get a voicemail and never got the voicemail returned. So I have no one to speak to except y'all about any issue. It's not on the agenda, so I can't talk about it now. But I think that's bull hockey. We should be able to speak to y'all. That's why we're upset about it. That. Now we got another police juror that is not responding. I don't know the man, but he is not responding to the public. District 5 has no representation again. That's why we need to be able to speak to you guys here. Not that I want to say, oh, I don't like your hat or whatever. You know, it's not that. We need to be able to speak to our representatives about our tax money and our assets. This is our parish. And we're not represented. And you want us to just shut up. And I don't appreciate it.
Miss Joy, does Mr. Bison have your number? Could give me your number and I'll have him return your call.
469-348-3995. And anybody there on Facebook, you can call me too. Everybody in the whole wide world, I don't care if they have my number.
I will contact Mr. Bison and get him that number to return your call.
And I know this is a little informal in here, but when you go on your website and you see that, I'm sorry because it's upsetting, but if you go on your website on the police jury, each juror you can click on, hey, Randy, I need to talk to you about something, right? Here's Randy's number. Here's your number. Here's everybody's number. It should be a working phone number where constituents can contact you if you are a police juror. I think it's a bare minimum.
Okay.
That we shouldn't have to come up here and boo-hoo to the president about it,
Okay.
you know?
Yes, ma'am.
So.
I'll relay this message on to him.
And tell him if I'm at work, he can leave me a voicemail. I will. I do have a working voicemail.
Okay. Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
So, I don't like they all said, no, I'm
I'll wear a different one tomorrow then.
So I just wanted to thank, Bob and I had a little conversation just before the meeting started, and so I've got everything that I needed. I just want to thank you for your efforts in getting the water truck down there. I know the residents will certainly appreciate it. Everybody's got dust on all the roads. Some worse than others. Okay. And I know Pilcher just doing the work and done on it pretty bad, so is Merritt Mountain. Thank you for the water truck. And I'd also like to say, and I've made this offer before, but I'll make it again. Since you have a water truck, you can come down to my house, you can back down my driveway, goes all the way down to the boat lawn, and fill the water truck right there anytime you want to. And I'll be sure that we park out of the driveway so they can get there.
You can drive on the lawn too, it's okay.
That's fine. Just feel free to come down here and fill the water truck up. And I'm sure there's other people around the lake that do that too, if you want to. Appreciate it. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Bobby, I was gonna just say that better check with SRA on that because I've had them come down and get water out of mine and had to get a permit to do that, so.
Well, I was gonna say, thank you for the offer, but I made arrangements for because of those concerns. That was my concern also, but I thank you for that.
Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
I know y'all, probably addressed this. I mean, I just got here. I live on Pilcher Road. My name's James Burke. And the reason why I'm here, I'm just wanting to find out what the process is and where y'all at with getting that road asphalt. Because I heard the dust come in. Everybody's got dust. I understand that. It's like I said once before. If I would have wanted to live on a dirt road, I'd have bought property on a dirt road. And I know this is a process moving forward and we got to deal with it, but it is extreme. And the speed limit down there is 25 and 35.
Not
And there
50.
ain't nobody, I mean, nobody that goes that speed limit. And I talked to the sheriff's department down there the other day. He's been patrolling it, and he told me he made a commitment. I hadn't seen him down there, but he said he made a commitment to me that he would be down there more
He
often.
followed Pat home yesterday, so he's
He
there
followed me all
all the way to the house. Going
So,
Well, good.
I mean, that's it.
Mr. Hughes, you want to address his question on that process?
We're gonna have a water truck out there. We don't own a water truck, we have to borrow a water truck. So, we're gonna have a water truck out there tomorrow. We're gonna try to grade some of the corduroy out of it. It's pretty bad. We had a grader on it, last Saturday. It's just dry. It's dry, really hard material. A lot of heavy traffic, a lot of fast traffic. Doesn't help that at all. And, so we're gonna try to get that taken care of. And, I would say it's on all of our minds to get that road done. It's not any more important than any other,
Right.
but it's a road that's on our list that we will get moving on. It's a long road. It's gonna be a process.
Yeah.
No while. So I would say 2 to 4 weeks we'll be there laying asphalt. I would think. I think that's realistic.
That's good as long as you can get the dust down. I mean, I live right next to the road. So, I mean, people just fly down that road. Whereas 35, they doing 50 and 55. And I'm not exaggerating.
Wait to see what they're gonna do when you get
Yeah,
asphalt.
wait till you back
And that's what I told the guy, Mr. Jackson.
He's on the smooth part.
Yeah, I'm on the smooth part.
He is.
I got about 100 yards of one lane, ain't nothing but dust.
That's
But that chunk they took out should slow them down. They ought to catch air on that thing.
They
No,
slow
you gotta be
down at
kidding
all.
me.
So, I
right.
Bobby.
Okay.
I'll probably pull them back.
No,
Yeah,
it's
you're right.
Being that we're talking about water trucks and dust,
not funny.
you know, we hear a lot about dust all over the parish. I mean, it's not just Pilcher Road, it's dust. You hear Pump Station Road and a lot of others. You know, after we had a pretty good rain here a week or two ago, 2 days later, it's just as dusty as it was. So how much water do you have to put on a road? I mean, with a water truck, can you actually control dust? You might do it on a mile or two, but
We're not going out there with a water truck to control dust.
Yeah.
We're going out there to wet the road, so we can grade it, to wet it so we can grade it and try to get some of the corridors out of it.
so it's not for dust control, it's for,
Prep to lay asphalt. And if we get it right and it goes as we think it will, we may come back soon and shoot oil on that road.
Yeah.
People better slow down then.
Yeah.
and get it prepped.
Yeah.
That oil help the dust, and that's not the intent of the oil.
Yeah.
The oil is to help with the adhesion of the asphalt.
Unfortunately, you can't control how people drive. That's the law enforcement's job, to
Yeah.
regulate how people drive. It's impossible.
All right, any other public comments? All right,
I want to know, who's the young man?
that's my grandson.
Oh, okay.
He's my sidekick.
Well, hello, sidekick. Well, he sure is cute. He must take after the other side.
He does. He does.
Oh, I had to say that. He hears it all the time though, right?
All right, on item, what is 8? Discuss the purchase of a used 2013 Mack truck to be used parish-wide. Recently, we, District 7 had purchased a truck to help move equipment. Whenever these guys is filling the yards up with the belly dumps or the other end dumps or whatever, my district purchased this truck to use to help out and then also help out in my district. Well, since then, we've purchased an asphalt trailer, which will haul about double the amount of a dump truck. So, and that guy, our parish-wide guy, will be going to work in Ward 6 and 10, which that truck won't be available to move equipment no more because it's going to be hauling asphalt and working in my district. So Bobby and I have been kind of looking out for a used truck, something. We've had a lot of issues with our new trucks. They're very expensive. We have a lot of downtime on them in the shop with the computerized technology today. So we've been on the lookout for a good used truck that we know who owned the truck, what kind of service it's been. So we come across one a local guy owns. He was in the logging business. For his reasons, he's parking and he's going to work driving for someone, which from his information is a smart move. Yeah. But anyway, so the truck is available. So I had Bobby and Mike, the mechanic, and me and Bird also. One day we went and looked at it, and Bobby and the mechanic went and looked at it, and it seems to be a good truck. And it'd be a good truck, a local truck. We know it's been serviced. We know it's been taken care of. Eric, you may know the truck, since you're in the business. But anyway, I feel that this would be a good purchase for us to use to move the asphalt crew, the zipper crew, to go pick up any equipment or because we need to keep our haul trucks that are either hauling rock or hauling asphalt. We need to keep them on the jobs and not pull away from them. So this here would be a spare truck that we can haul rock with it. Just be an extra truck for it to fill in the blank.
Truck rigged out to pull the belly down.
Yes.
Wired to pull the belly down.
And it's pretty much ready to go. It
can walk right in the fleet and go to work.
Yes.
It's airbag, camelback, suspension.
I can't tell you.
Okay, well,
I believe it's everybody.
maybe Bobby can answer this, but I get confused on that. Seems like we bought a lot of trucks. And you're moving, you said you bought a truck.
Yes.
And we moved a guy from, when you bought a truck, that didn't do away with one of the trucks we already had.
No.
You just took the driver from that truck and moved it over to the truck you bought or
Yes.
something. So if you just move the driver, why do we need another truck? I mean, the truck was still there, right? The truck we had.
That truck that we purchased was going to be a truck to fill in and help move the crews around. And then when it wasn't doing that, it was going to be working. It's going to be District 7's truck to where we can help stock our own yards and stuff. Well, since then, like I said, we purchased an asphalt trailer that would help us out in our asphalt. We have a very small window here. I'm going to use Pilcher Road, for instance. It's going to take some time to do Pilcher Road. That's a long road, and whenever you're hauling 2 loads to one at the end of the day, and at the end of that week, it makes a lot of difference. For and you're it's the same mileage to go get it. But say if we lay in Pilcher Road and that truck is tied up laying asphalt, well, say if the zipper crew needs to be moved, or if the landfill has a dozer down, we have to haul that dozer to the shop, or if we have equipment go down. But then we're gonna have to pull one of our parish trucks, that truck, to go do that, and it's gonna take away from our asphalt. Is my point.
Well, I guess I would just think we're not down a truck. You've actually added a truck.
Yes,
And so we still got the same amount of trucks we have, that's parish-wide trucks,
yes,
right?
it's still gonna.
But what we're saying is those are not enough. The trucks that we have is not enough to do the job that we've been doing with them, or
Well, it can do the job, but it's going whenever you have, yeah, it's going to take away from it when you have to move.
You're gonna have to throw the truck.
Because
A parish-wide truck, Mr. Mike. K-Wall bought the truck.
Because-
He was just
no,
helping
but I'm
out.
saying that we already had parish-wide trucks.
we have two.
He taking the driver, but that left a truck still over in parish-wide. So you got a truck over there, but now you don't have a driver for it.
Well, keep
So-
in mind, we have,
Go ahead.
I'm just telling y'all how I see it. We have 2 parish-wide trucks. We have 2 end dump, we have a belly dump, and we have a flatbed trailer that we move equipment with. 2-3 years ago, we had 2 trucks that ran trailers and stocked yards. They moved all the time. Last year, within the last year or two, that one truck is a trailer truck all the time. It moves equipment every day. And it's moving, and we move to save money for the parish. We move a lot of the landfills. They have to hire a truck, and to hire a truck to move equipment to Alexandria, that's where most of their equipment goes, is very expensive. So we save the parish money by moving them. That truck stays with the trailer behind it all the time. And so we now have one truck that stocks all the yards in the parish. Well, that doesn't, because most of the time, especially right now, all of our dump trucks, every one of our dump trucks, when they're not broke down, and we always have about 2 that are broke down, or in the shop, we have 2 broke down right now, we have 2 in the shop up in Shreveport. And one's been there a month, one's been there about 3 weeks.
That's the newer trucks that we have
That's
issues
correct.
with.
But how many parish-wide drivers do you have?
I'd have to sit here.
I mean, I guess that's the point I'm getting to. We've taken a parish-wide driver and we're putting it on a truck, still doing things for parish-wide and for your ward.
Our 2 parish-wide trucks got 2 drivers.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
no. We will work this out, but the two parish-wide drivers, one of the drivers is now moving to that road district as a road district employee, and he's gonna be there. He's no longer gonna be a parish-wide driver. We are gonna promote a parish-wide.
So you gotta have
Class B
another
driver.
position for a parish-wide.
We're gonna promote a Class B driver up to a Class A driver, and have our 2 haul trucks occupied with drivers, and we have an opening for a dump truck driver, Class B driver.
Well, I guess, I mean, I think that's very generous of K-Wall to be doing this, but in the past, when we've tried to get an extra employee for a district, we can call it a driver, we can call it a grader operator, we can call it whatever we want. Never was able to get one approved. So moving an extra employee into a district, is that filling a position that's already open, or is that an extra
But
employee?
he's not gaining an additional.
I'm not again. I've been with the employees that I got for the last,
Yeah.
what was it? Since
But he's not gaining an additional.
I'm not gaining. I'm just
Well-
filling a vacancy.
He had an open.
I've been running.
That's what I was
Yeah,
asking.
I've
You
been
had an
running
opening.
short-handed for 2 years now.
That's fine.
So you thought I was getting an extra man? didn't you?
Yeah. I don't know where mine was at.
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm just feeling, it was a guy that worked with us that had some medical issues and he has been off. And, he would get kind of straightened out and he'd go back to work with us. But then his last time on his medical issues, he's not able to recoup.
So we're not creating a new position anywhere.
I'm just filling that vacancy.
Parish-wide, so we'll have to, we now have an opening, or we'll have an opening parish-wide that it's not a new position. We'll just have to
That's right,
fill
we
it.
just filling the spots that we have.
Okay.
And I'll say this, up on Rec Site 4 Road, the project that was done up to APEC ended up doing it. And I want to say there was 14 or maybe even 15 trucks on that job. And whenever you got trucks backed up to a lay down machine, you can lay some asphalt. And that's what we got to do to get our roads done.
I agree.
They done it in 2 days.
I keep, and this may not be an issue, but I keep pointing out to Bobby is that this is an exceptional year, being that we didn't have a crew last year to do our work. So we're doing a lot of roads, but we're also spending a lot of money. And after we get this tranche of money spent that we have, that's part of it came from this grant. Part of it's left over from last year, the Parish Transportation Fund. In years to come, we're not going to have that same amount of money to spend on roads. So we're not going to have as many roads to do. And I don't want to gear up an operation that's going to be geared up for the type of work that we're doing now for the future years, because it just won't be the money there. I mean, it won't be the money there for those kind of roads. So,
Well, I know I have roads that were supposed to be done in 2019 that won't get done in 2023. I already see that.
yeah, I know that none got done last
So,
year. So
We're running me personally on my own
I'm buying too.
projects up there.
I think
I mean, you're looking, you know, it's going to be 4 or 5 years down the road before you even catch up to everything that's, you know, that needs to be done. Well, you got to take in consideration of the damages that's going to be done in those 3 or 4 years too. So,
And not only
I
that,
mean-
we've got, settlement agreements with, different pipeline companies that we've got money in the bank. And I hope by the end of this week, we'll have another settlement agreement with another company, a current company, for some road damage. And it's significant money, but we have to find time to do those roads.
Right.
So there's, and I'm with you on 2 and 3, but not every road district is broke. You know? There's some that's pretty healthy, you know.
because we hadn't been able to spend it in the last, I mean, you know,
yeah, I understand. And I know that we got plenty of roads to do. It's whether we have the money to do them. So,
well, anyway, like I said, that was just, and I'll say this on that project, it was I'm gonna say a grant bill that on the Rec Site 4 Road was a grant type, and it was a 100% funded by the Mr. Bagley, our representative, helped us get that money. And I want to say we hired out the trucking end of that. We hauled, and then we hired some trucks. And I want to say that the trucks that we hired out end up costing that project about $20,000, $18,000. Well,
yeah.
just think if we had to pay for it out of your budget. So, you know, to me, it makes sense to have your own truck to haul your own equipment, because you know, if you start paying 20 here, 18 here, and you contract your trucks out, well, you eat a lot of your material up. So,
Well, on these, getting back to the truck, the 2013 Mack, that's going to be a parish-wide
That's
truck. So it's going to be a high mileage truck. We're going to be putting a lot of miles on that, back and forth, hauling all the time, back and forth to rock yards. Should we be looking at a used truck or?
yes, we have had more issues with these new trucks, and when you get them in a shop, like Bobby says, you got one in there now. They don't know it's 2 months, 3 months. They blame everything on COVID, and to where we have mechanics in our shop that can, and Eric can tell you, he's been around trucks his whole life. We could fix them ourselves here in-house. But whenever you when you have these new trucks, you gotta send them to the shop. They,
Warranty issues.
do this and do that, and you gotta order parts, and then whenever you get them back, they may run 2 weeks, and you back up there, hooking them back up to a computer again, and it's the downtime that kills us. We can't afford to have those trucks down.
We had Ricky's truck in the shop for 2 months. We went to pick it up the other day, and he got stonewall, and it started throwing codes. We had to turn around and go back up there, and it still sits in the same spot. We
So-
do that.
Well, look at our truck. I mean, over an airline,
Yeah.
a new truck. It was what, 3 weeks, month now over a little simple airline.
My truck's up there. My 14 yards up there.
I
So,
mean, they build this stuff these days and they ain't got no parts.
yeah,
Well, and their trouble too is the same thing we all face, is there's no mechanics. They're running what they got. I mean, it's still, it's been going on all this time, and we're still not even believing that that's the truth. But the truth is there's just shortage of people,
Well, I mean,
of
that,
skilled people.
and you said it, mechanic. It ain't any mechanics in it. If these guys go get them a little degree out of a school that can read the technology, but that technology don't show you what's causing that issue. You know, they go say a sensor, oh, this sensor's out. They put that sensor on, like you said. We brought one from Shreveport to Stonewall and was having trouble. They didn't fix the issue that's causing that sensor to go out. All they done was read, and what they read, put the sensor on. That wasn't what was causing the issue.
We'll find out whether who's got the longest wait time, and we'll take vehicles to Longview rather than Shreveport if they've got fewer vehicles in the shop, just to get them back sooner.
and I'll say with our older trucks, when we have mechanical issues with them, they go in the shop, the mechanics get on them, and you know, you might have to wait 3 or 4, maybe a week for parts, and that truck's back on the road.
And you can get it local here in Manny. We probably can't get any international parts here local.
So
Well,
anyway, that was,
And
So
on
what-
this truck, do we know a price
55.
55.
for just the truck?
So do we need a motion to buy it?
Well, if it's the pleasure of the committee, I mean, if there's any, I feel Bobby talked with the guy that owns the truck. Bird knows the guy. He's from up around his area, and everyone I've talked to said that, you know,
he took care of
he's
his
took
truck.
care of his stuff.
So
So
he's an owner operator. I mean, I know the truck personally.
And I'll say that he asked more than that. He was asking more than that. And we had a conversation, just a realistic conversation. And I suggested, that's the number I suggested. And he said he could live with it. That's the number we felt was fair. And his number was higher than that. But we discussed market value, we discussed comps, and he felt agreeable with that.
We don't need any kind of,
and like I said, in your mail, you'll see different trucks that Bobby has
Shot me out of luck.
They undercut you.
looked at these different trucks through different places here, and from one North Carolina and different places, and they anywhere from 69,000 to 79,000, and then you don't even know,
You don't know what you
you
got.
don't know what you got, you know. So
well, I make the motion that we recommend buying the 2013 Mack truck. Bill, do we need any kind of we don't need any kind of bidding deal or anything like that on that. So,
We got 3 quotes.
okay, so I make the recommendation that we buy that Mack truck, or recommendation to the full jury that we buy it.
got a motion by Mike, second by Bird. All in favor? All opposed? All right, we'll make that recommendation tomorrow. Okay. All right, moving on to number 9, discuss creating a maintenance supervisor position to replace the litter deputy positions.
And this is Eric's position. I mean, we just reworded it.
You want to cover this?
Sure.
Okay.
So we've always had, well, as long as I've been here, we've had 2 positions, and they were titled litter deputy. And we always all know who filled those positions. The idea, pre-COVID, the idea was that these two guys, went every morning to the jail and they picked up trustees and they worked on, well, common pothole crew. They picked up trash, they patched potholes, dump sites, put up street signs. They did everything that we needed done. Well, COVID came and the jail shut down. So, the jury, we couldn't get trustees anymore. So the jury, allowed us to hire 2 4-man crews as we get 2 4-man trustee crew. And they were temporary employees. So we did that. And that worked until, I don't know, a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago. The jails opened up and let us have 1 crew. So we had 1 bought paid for crew, 1 hired crew, and 1 trustee crew. And we kind of phased them out as people quit, because there's a lot of turnover there, temporary jobs, $10 an hour, and a lot of people stuck around for that. So we had one of the litter deputies, he changed jobs and took a job with the sheriff's department. And when that happened, it kind of brought attention to what we had been doing. And the conversation between us and the sheriff's department, we had a conversation, and it kind of went that I'm gonna use the word that was they were kind of grandfathered in. It wasn't really grandfathered, but we didn't do it for so long, and it started with a different administration, that nobody really thought about that we have pretty much civilians going to pick up inmates. And so it brought attention to that, and we had a conversation about, well, we can't do that anymore. We have to have these people trained. So we discussed that a meeting or 2 ago, that we're gonna have these people trained. So that began a lot of conversations. So what we're looking to do now is to kind of reorganize these litter deputies. And we are not gonna have litter deputies anymore. We're gonna have parish employees that are gonna be, we kind of thought about, looked at the job description and created a job description that accurately reflects what we're doing today. We're gonna call it a maintenance supervisor. And so these former litter deputies will be maintenance supervisors. We're not gonna pick up trustees anymore. We're gonna have 2 4-man crews. This is the presentation to you all. I'm not speaking as if this is what we're doing, but should you desire this is what we're looking to do, is to have 2 4-man employee crews. They'll be at the rate of $12 an hour, and they'll be full-time employees with benefits. And the 2 individuals will be maintenance supervisors, not commissioned, not jailer certified. That will have nothing to do more with picking up trustees. Sheriff's Department has said, should we at any point need help, then we have our 3 post-certified enforcement deputies. And we have a couple of individuals that also are credentialed to pick those up. Should we need any temporary assistance at some point, that door's still open, but we're gonna go kind of this way. This will add to the structure we've created, to where we have, we have kind of a ladder to climb within our department. So now people can come in as a $12 an hour entry level position, and as a laborer in this crew, and they'll hire on, and they can work their way up. They can work their way up then to the next step would be an equipment operator at $14 an hour. Then after that, they can progress to a skilled operator, $16 an hour. And then our next step would be, at some point, might work their way up to be a foreman. And we'll have kind of a progression. We didn't have that 4 or 5 years ago.
And also it would give these guys coming on, and I use the term pothole crew, but they everything crew. They cut grass and help Barry with the compactor stations, and they just do a maintenance crew.
Yeah.
But then they may take interest in maybe the zipper crew or the asphalt crew, because we have had some guys that started out on pothole, and they are now part of the asphalt crew. And so it's kind of a starting point for someone, to come on board with us. So I know personally, I can only speak for District 7. We haven't had a pothole crew in 4 or 5 months. And it's hard for, the guys the foremen and the bush hoggers and the operators to try to get potholes fixed whenever we have nobody to come fix them. So he does the best he can with what coal mix we got at the yard. If they happen to be in that area, run by there and throw a little bit on them. But I know that the south end, they've continued having their pothole crew around. This crew, the one crew that we have. But as far as the north end, we don't have a pothole crew, and hadn't had one, and we're in need for it.
So we need to cut and pull them back north.
Well, I don't know what.
Well,
So,
I
but it's just not enough to go
It
around.
feels like you haven't had anybody.
Yeah.
But we've had one guy that's been busting his.
Yes.
butt. I'm gonna brag on Robert.
Yes.
And I will too, but I mean, he can't make all the Sabine Parish.
Trying, I mean, it haunts him to be even in the parish. He wants everybody to get a little bit of it. He knows he's the only guy. He and his guys have been working really hard. So it feels like he hasn't been there, but he's
Well,
he's taking care of all the dump sites.
yeah,
Putting up every street
They-
sign, and he's
and it's too much for one crew.
And that's one
And-
crew over 1,000 miles. I mean, that's a
And
lot.
he and to Bobby may have mentioned this. He had was going to be off one day. Had done planned to be off, but Robert did, and he didn't quite get his job done with. So he came in on the day he had planned to be off to finish that project.
Yeah.
So it speaks a lot about his character.
Yeah, it was Little Flock Road. He came, I saw him in the morning, I was, what are you doing here? He said, man, I was almost finished Little Flock. He said, but I can't leave it like that. He said, I'm gonna work half day today, we'll get it done.
So, but anyway,
Bobby, I agree that we certainly need two or two utility crews, maintenance crews. I agree that Robert's a great guy, but the question comes, we've always had two, and what is the reason, other than the certification, why we can't continue using the free labor because we can't get them, or nobody wants to be trained, or what's the?
Some days you ain't got.
we've had, and I'll speak just from my knowledge, we've had a lot of trouble getting inmates, getting some days it might not be but one or two show up, and then now it's the certification that these guys have to have. They got to be a level.
They have to be, a credential jail. They have to have
Yeah.
jail certification. And I'll speak on what I think is the positive side of that. The positive side that I see of it is, if we implement this, then we will have entry-level positions and I know $12 an hour isn't great, but it's better than we've ever had, we're growing. But it will be an entry-level position that we can bring people, young people, I hope, in from our community, and they'll have a starting point, and they'll have insurance, they'll have benefits, so they'll have a starting point to come in and stay with us. What we did before with the $10 an hour jobs, and it was just temporary, no benefits. People would come and go. What would we end up doing, honestly, is we hired a lot of former trustees, and that was great. We still have a couple of them working with us now sometimes, but we'll have a starting point that people come and stick around.
Well, you're having a hard time getting employees, period, right now. So now you're going to have to keep up with another 4 employees instead of. Okay.
So we got some in mind, ready.
Yes, and should this be approved tomorrow, we do have an individual waiting to assume the second maintenance supervisor position.
To be the supervisor.
Yes,
How much does that pay?
16,
Everybody wants to know.
yes.
$12.
I wouldn't.
I'm sorry?
$12. That's just not much money.
It isn't. Hey, could you pay your insurance premium out of $12 paycheck?
I mean, in any way, you're doing a little bit more than that. It just seems awful.
Well, we had discussed this. I discussed this with Bill, and like I said, the guys that are there now, they're making $10 an hour, and so we bumped it up $2 an hour.
To them, it sounds
And,
better. Well, it is.
and we're going to look at this and see, we're trying to kind of restructure our program here to get some guys to come on board, and then we'll see how this works out. And you know, I guess, and then we'll just see, because you know, we know times is hard everywhere. I mean, you could go over to McDonald's and fix burgers and make what, $14 an hour. And these guys are out in the heat cutting grass, so we,
We're
yeah.
gonna lose them to, as soon as, hey, an opening at Family Dollar
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
comes up, they do pay
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
But the $10 an hour guys that we have now, though, they're not permanent
No,
employees,
no,
are they?
they just, and that's
So
what you get.
So the $10 will go to 12, which is a $2 raise, which is
Yeah.
still not much. But they'll also be getting their insurance,
They get
which
the
they pay,
insurance.
what, 86% of their insurance premium?
They get their,
So it's not just the $2, they'll be getting a
yeah,
lot more.
Yeah.
And some of those things, you're paying $12 and get that kind of benefits.
And how their step plan works, is that each year?
Yeah,
yeah.
3%, 3%
They'll
basically.
start with the step plan. They'll
So-
be in the, you know, program.
So Bill, can we, you've always been cautious about adding extra employees. Y'all have looked at that
Yes,
pretty,
sir. Yes, sir.
okay. Well, do we need a motion on that?
We need any other discussion on the matter?
I don't have any.
Eric, you got any other?
We need it on the north
Oh,
end.
yeah, we need them.
Definitely. I could use it today, not tomorrow.
You're right. So, do I have a motion on this?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Byrd,
Second.
second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. We'll make this recommendation. So the item 9 was to create that maintenance supervisor position, right?
Right.
I need a motion on that first.
I make that motion.
Motion,
Yeah, just
Right.
made that.
huh?
Didn't we just do that?
We just done to discuss the hiring of pothole crew as a permanent employees. We've done it all in one, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so Byrd, you made a motion.
Yeah.
Eric second on the item 9 is to create a maintenance supervisor position to replace the litter deputy position. Do I have, all right, all in favor on that one?
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, that one carries 4-0. And now on item 10 is, we covered that one, is discuss the hiring pothole crew as permanent employees and increasing the rate pay to $12 an hour. And I had a motion by Byrd and a second by Mike on that one. We voted on that one 4-0. Correct? Correct?
Correct.
Well, immediately after it's approved by the full board, so.
That's a recommendation.
Yeah, the recommendation, and then if the board approves of it, that would be tomorrow, then you would do it immediately or the pay period.
Well, the pay period began on Monday.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll say immediately, and then if it ends up being a pay period, it just be what it is. I'll let y'all work that out.
Are we through?
All right, item 11, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make that motion.
Motion by Mike, second by Mr. Byrd. All in favor?
Aye.
And all opposed, motion carries 4-0. All right, motion, meeting adjourned. Thank you.